No one could have known it then, but when Daytona International Speedway opened in 1959, it marked the beginning of a new era in American motorsports. As a replacement for the old beach road course a few miles to the east, the opening of a high-banked 2.5-mile Florida tri-oval represented the leading edge of a wave of construction of big paved speed palaces. Before Daytona, Indianapolis was the only American track longer than 1.25 miles, and most racing took place on dirt ovals of a mile or less in length. From the very first Daytona 500 won by Lee Petty in a three-way photo finish, those high banks proved a favorable venue for wide-open stock car racing. Daytona kicked off the growth of NASCAR as we know it today. Daytona International Speedway's infrastructure has grown and changed to such a degree that it would almost be unrecognizable today to someone who hasn't seen it over the last 20 years. It's an amazing motorsports facility. But one thing hasn't changed over the past 6 decades. No driver can consider his or her career complete without notching a victory at Daytona. From Earnhardt, who captured the 500 in 1998 after coming so close so many times, to 14-year-old kart racers whose racing resumes are just beginning. A victory at Daytona is a mark of distinction. Tonight, we're not on the oval. Well, kinda. We're on the road course for Race 1 of the Lonestar Racing Sports Car Series. It's coming up next here on HBR-TV. Race details for tonight. Again, it is the Lonestar Racing Sports Car Series, round number 1 from Daytona. 3.54-mile road course. It utilizes the NASCAR oval and the infield road section. Air temperature 67 degrees, humidity at 76%. Track temperature 68 degrees, so qualifying, which is just about underway already, should be very quick for these drivers. We're going to jump over here momentarily and catch the last 7-8 minutes of that session in just a moment. Sun setting here at Daytona Beach. Qualifying for round number 1 is underway. Field comprised of prototype machines and GT3 machines. Right now, Bill Martin on track. No one has checked in just yet with an official time in the session. Bill Martin out of Conway, South Carolina. Sean Roberts clocks in the first fast time of the session, a minute 32.58. Again, that is in the Dallara prototype, the LMP2. So Martin crosses the stripe, 5th quick, a minute 39 and change. Andrew Locke on the speedway. First lap for Andrew, a minute 33.712. A pretty quick first lap for Locke, 4th fast on the board. Top 3 currently Sean Roberts, Kevin Blue, Matt Sisoler. I think I'm saying that right. Got all Daytona prototypes. Or LMP2. Such a bad habit to break, calling them Daytona prototypes. But LMP2, the actual category in the prototype category here in the sports car series. Right now, the fastest GT car, Patrick Hingston in the Mercedes. Locke approaching start finish to complete his second lap. What does he chime in with? Still fourth quick, 33.58 for Andrew Locke. Going on to Mark Thomas, his first lap, 43.53. 10th overall. Right now he is the third fastest GT car in the field. Hingston still top of that board. Aldo Secklin in the Ferrari is second quick. You see on the left-hand side, it is the overall standings you will see on the left. We'll try to keep you apprised as to who is in what as far as a prototype or GT, as Mark Thomas bails on second lap here. He's just going to stay with that first lap, which is okay. An hour race, plenty of time. He looks like he's got a decent enough pace out there. Aldo's second lap of 43.491. He's going to stay there in the second position. Looks like Warren Keith, 12th quick on his first lap, a minute 44.167. Word in the paddock is the Mercedes is going to be the car to beat, at least as far as the GT category is concerned. To see if that holds true so far, the exception of Aldo Secklin in the Ferrari. Aldo's pretty hot shoe, though. Not surprising to see him up there in the top three in qualifying. Second lap for Keith, a little faster, a 43.13. As he comes to a stop. Jesse Redding on track, and the prototype gets a wheel off, keeps it straight. 9th quick on his first lap. Currently running lap 2 of 2. Oh, a little loose on exit, saves the car. It's going to cost him some time, though. Just over 2 minutes left in the quali session, and we'll get right into the race post-qualifying. Try to get a starting grid here. It's a long lap under caution. We'll try to get everybody before we go green. There's a bunch. Redding crosses the stripe for his second lap. Pretty consistent, about the same, a couple of tenths off, but we'll jump to Britt Osborne in the Lamborghini. First lap was invalidated. Lap 2, a minute 52.010. Cody Steeg finishes up. He's 15th overall. It does appear that everyone has wrapped up their laps. Looks like Fendick here, one and done. Britt Osborne stays on track just for a little bit extra lap time, but that's pretty much going to wrap up qualifying. We've got 60 seconds officially left in the session. It doesn't appear that everybody took a time. A handful didn't. Nigel Stock was fastest in the practice session, did not qualify. I find that very interesting. We'll see how he works his way through the field in the race session. Again, practice results from prior. Kevin Blue did clock in the fastest time, a 33.12. He does sit third on the grid with a 32.99. Did improve from practice, but not quite enough to take the top spot. Nigel Stock, Sean Roberts, that's your top three in the practice session. And that's going to do it. Qualifying is in the books. Let's take a look at our starting grid for round one of the LSR Sports Car Series from Daytona Beach. On the pole position, it is the number 23 of Sean Roberts, flanked by the 4 of Austin Delgado. Row number 2, it's Kevin Blue, the 54, with Matt Soler in the 93. Row number 3, with Fast MD Racing, it's Andrew Locke in the 27. Chris Goins in the 6. He'll start 6th with Garrett Hagan starting 7. Cody Anderson will roll off from the 8th position. Also, again, these are all prototypes. The Jesse Redding machine, he'll start from the 9th spot. Bill Martin will roll off from the 10th position. Nigel Stock will be 11th with Joe Tucker starting 12th. Mike Fahey will roll off from the 13th position. That is your starting grid for the P category. Continue down the line and take a look at the rest of the GT machines. Mike Fahey, the number 19, on the pole for the GT3 category, with Pat Hingsington, the number 14, starting second. Warren Keith will start from the 3rd position, with Aldo Secklin starting 4th. Mark Thomas will start from the 5th position. Cody Steeg will start 6th, with Roswell Harlow starting from the 7th spot. Travis Stevens will start 8th. Chris Pio start 9th, with Justin Urbe starting 10th. 11th is Blake Langley, with 12th position going to Pete Beagle. 13th, Donald Ray. 14th, Dan Fendick. 27th, Bill Bolfeld. And Britt Osborne. Last but not least, Dave Tamira. Dave's a returning driver from the previous Season 1 GT3 Series and SCAR Radical Series, starting shotgun on the field here at Daytona. It's your starting grid. Cars getting ready to roll off here momentarily, if not already. Short parade lap, so glad we got that out of the way just in time for the field to come to life and begin to roll down the back straightaway into the bus stop chicane. And race information here. We're going to go a full hour here at Daytona Beach. Timed race, no cautions, local cautions only. Prototype category, the LMP2s on a full fuel load at 100%. The GT category, 70% fuel, as they are just slightly more efficient. Unlimited tire usage, which in reality they probably will not need them. Typically, these endurance races, you won't see anyone change tires, at least after that first stint. Sometimes track temperatures can vary that a little bit, but we'll wait and see. Pace car getting ready to peel off. We're going to light this thing off here, get this race rolling here. Race number 1, round number 1, the Lonestar Racing Sports Car Series. About to go green as pace car hits pit lane. Although Secklin out to an early lead in the GT category as they go through the first horseshoe. Again, keeping a look on the left-hand side, the timing tower. It is the overall standings. Right now, the last place prototype there is Mike Fahey. Fahey and Nigel Stock going back and forth. Now Nigel Stock dropping like a rock. What has happened with Nigel? Maybe an off just a bit, gathers it back up, trying to get some heat into the tires. You see Mark Thomas working to the outside. Again, Mark Thomas listed as the 50, the 50 machine, but with a number 6 paint scheme. That's actually the paint scheme that myself, Mark Thomas, and Zach Millett ran in the official 6 Hours of the Glen. I'll be honest, I owe Mark a paint, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet, so that's why it's not quite right. I'm sure that'll be straightened away by the next race. My apologies, Mark Thomas. John Roberts maintains the top spot as they go to the stripe, leads lap number 1. See the gap that these prototypes already have on the rest of the GT category. A couple of other LMP2 machines in the back, stragglers if you will. See Nigel Stock coming into frame. New GT leader Patrick Hingston Kingston in the 14. Looks like the number block not quite right on that machine either. Makes it a little difficult, but quite the unique paint job on that machine. Watching this battle for the third position, Matt Sassoler is in third. Andrew Locke looking to the outside to try and take that spot at the stripe. It's tough to call. Might have been Sassoler keeping that spot. Oh, contact going into one. Andrew Locke making contact with the 93 as Sassoler spins it on the runoff. Back in the throttle, though. Minimal damage, if any, to the 93 machine, but a little hurt pride for sure. He's going to slide back into the 6th position overall. Try to get a look at that again here. Watch from the blimp. Very early on in this 1 hour race. It is definitely a sprint. Side by side as they come across the stripe. Looks like Locke did just turn down. I'm not sure if he realized Matt was there or what the situation was. I don't see Andrew doing that intentionally. There was a little bit of room to his left, but not a ton. Pretty aggressive move this early. Well, Andrew Locke has gotten up into the 2nd position. Didn't see the pass that he made on Austin Delgado. P-Cars starting to catch the GT category machines. Again, the delta between these cars significant, roughly 10 seconds a lap faster in race trim. You will see that. It's a battle these guys all have to wage in passing and then being passed by these prototypes. It's very difficult in some cases to gauge how quickly that car is coming or how much room you've got to make the pass. Are you catching the car in front of you too quickly, or is he going to give you the space? It's sometimes hard to tell. I know the rule of thumb they always say is just run your line. You're much slower. Be predictable. That is the important part to it. If you can be predictable, you're easier to pass even at a much slower speed. Not always the way it works out, and many times you will see these prototypes and sports cars come together. Oh, and the 24 is in the fence. Interestingly enough, I don't see a 24 in the live timing. Maybe it's Bill Martin. There we go. Looks like he is stuck in the tire barrier. Tough break for Bill Martin. Not what you want, especially this early on in a 1 hour race. It's going to be awfully difficult to make that time up. He's going to have to tow. It's the only way he's going to get out of that barrier. He does just that. Let's go back and see if we can see what happened with Bill Martin. See him coming out of the International Horseshoe. Just overcooks it on the left turn. Front tires possibly not warm enough just yet, or didn't trail brake. Tough break either way. Obviously gets stuck in that tire barrier. That's going to be all she wrote. Likely, at least for his opportunity, his chances to win here tonight. John Roberts, though, still in command. Sean out of Albertus, Pennsylvania. Again, Sean Roberts, the leader in the LMP2 category. Patrick Hingston currently still the leader in GT3 over Aldo Secklin. He's got a 3.6 second advantage back to Aldo. Again, this Mercedes, relatively new to the iRacing service, the brand new Evo, the 2020 Evo version that iRacing has released in its last major update. Seems to be awfully popular on the service. Pretty quick car. A lot of guys just pick it because it sounds cool, but it's pretty competitive, especially these high horsepower rhythm style racetracks. I mean, you've got a little bit of the technical portions in the infield. Got plenty of you guys watching in the stream. I'd love to see you interact just a little bit. Give me something to chat about. Where are you watching from? There's a ton of drivers in this one, so who are you cheering for? Who's your pick to win it? Who's going to get the overall? Who's going to win GT3? I've got some fast guys in here. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to end up with the win. I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to do it. Stream chat is wide open. As you can see, I'm getting spammed here with the the porn links. Keep trying to knock them out of here, but seems to only happen with the LSR guys. I don't know what that's all about, but Aldo using all of the racetrack and just a bit more, puts the left sides just a bit over in the grass. Not like he's trying to cool tires. We've talked about that, possibly a little bit of an issue in some of these iRacing road course series in GT3 and DP. They've been dipping the left and right side tires on straightaways in the grass to lower the tire temperature to improve tire life longevity. iRacing did come out and say that guys were going to get at least a 1-week ban for doing so, and then, well, increase those penalties if it continued. Something that I would imagine, if they didn't already do it today, they could certainly correct on a future update, future release. Gap between Sean Roberts and Andrew Locke now down to 1.1 second. Best lap out of Roberts, a 33.78. Andrew Locke, a 33.40. Last time by, Locke was a full second faster than Sean Roberts. Don't know if Sean's trying to save some tire for the end. Definitely going to need a pit stop at least once before this race comes to its conclusion. Again, not an endurance race, definitely a sprint here, 60 minutes only. It's not going to take long. This battle for the top spot is going to heat up here shortly with Andrew Locke closing down the gap now under a second. They get into the first international horseshoe. Sean Roberts flashing the lights. Get out of my way, I got to go. At this point, he's just trying to run and hide from Andrew Locke. Not sure if lap traffic is really playing the biggest part in this or if it's just a sheer pace out of Andrew Locke. Again, last lap at 33.72. Roberts was a 33.88. Picked the pace up a little bit. That slip may have been as a result of catching a slower GT3 car. Roberts got through the bus stop very well that last lap by. In fact, gained some ground on Andrew Locke. I think Andrew may have caught some GT cars at a bad spot. Very similar to what happened to Sean Roberts a few laps previous to that. It's all in how you catch the traffic. Clear sailing out in front of Roberts, though. We'll see if he can stretch this lead back out over Andrew Locke. It's still 1.5 seconds as they get through turn one. Getting a report, Cody Anderson has crashed. Cody Anderson, the number 17, that black and purple machine. Deep into the braking zone, on a little hard, locks up the rears. Nothing significant, just a quick spin into the second horseshoe, but he's going to have to lose some track position because of it. Gathers it back up. It's back in the fight. Looks like Bill Martin. No, that was previous. That was when he got stuck in the wall. Britt Osborne had an issue out on track as well. Again, Britt Osborne driving the Lamborghini. That was a hard impact. I don't know what exactly happened there. I want to go back and watch that one more time. Slow it down just a bit. He may have gotten too hard on the brakes or grabbed too many gears on the downshift, locked up the rears. Car comes right around on him. In the brakes, starting to turn left, and it just loops around, catches the nose just at the end of the safer barrier. Drivers coming in after doing a good job to avoid. Sean Roberts back out front, well, still out front. He's been there since the drop of the green flag, started pole position, and is beginning to stretch his advantage over Andrew Locke once again, just over 1.7 seconds. Andrew lost a full half second there. He's in some lap traffic with the GT cars, very well likely causing this issue. He's got to get by Mark Thomas here, getting back on the NASCAR oval. Goes to the high side, NASCAR 1 and 2. Now clear sailing between himself and Roberts once again, but that gap has increased significant. It was 1.5 seconds at the line. Now it's 2.7 seconds. Andrew lost a ton of time trying to negotiate through that lap traffic. As you see, Roberts has caught Aldo Secklin in the Ferrari. He's going to go wide. Cost him a little time in the bus stop, actually about half a second. You see where Andrew catches Aldo. It's going to be in the middle of NASCAR 3 and 4. $15 minutes in, we're going to step aside shortly for a break, and we'll be back after this. We'll go side by side, though, so you don't miss a thing. Stay with us. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In the break, leader Sean Roberts having an issue on track. Let's go back and take a look, see exactly what happened to the 23. Again, coming out of the horseshoe, trying to stay out in front of Andrew Locke. Goes wide a little left sides on the curbing. Just gets the power down a little too soon on exit. Didn't hit anything. Again, just loses track position, but Andrew Locke inherits the top spot due to that incident. Sean Roberts making it interesting. He's going to have a lot of catching up to do to take this top spot. Again, Roberts now 4.1 seconds behind Andrew. This is in third position. He's got to get by Delgado just to get back up to Andrew and challenge for the lead. Meanwhile, back in GT, Hingston still with the lead in the Mercedes. Aldo Secklin is second. Mark Thomas, the HBR TV Race Anywhere Bad Obsession Motorsports Mercedes. He is third. David Tamira running in. Overall, it is the 20. No, that's the number 29. Tamira running in the 10th position in the GT category. Again, back out front, Andrew Locke, current leader, took over the top spot when Sean Roberts ran into trouble all by himself, trying to put the power down on corner exit, getting back onto the NASCAR oval. Rear end stepped out, slid out from underneath him, did not make contact with anything, not the wall, not anybody else, but he did lose some track position. He's back 4.5 seconds in the third position. Delgado also took a spot away from Roberts. Austin Delgado runs in the second position. Cody Steeg in trouble on the track. We heard some noise out there. Guess it's the number, 15 Mercedes. He tows it back to the pits. Let's see exactly what happened with Cody Steeg. Down the backstretch. Appeared on my end. It looked like it might have been on exit of the bus stop. Decent entry. Just just over rotates it. Rear end slips out from underneath him. Hard impact to the outside safer barrier, and he's definitely going to have to tow. Checking up on Kevin Blue. Had good pace in the practice session. Currently runs in the 4th position overall. Number 54, Lonestar Racing LMP2. Andrew Locke in the pit lane. Scheduled stop. which means they'll need to make one more for sure before this one is over. It's going to give Delgado the top spot. Roberts moves back into the second position. Fuel only. Again, especially in these nighttime, these colder track temperatures, not going to burn up the tires. The track temperature is going to stay low. The tire temps are going to stay low. Can certainly let them go a little bit longer in the nighttime hours. Andrew does just that. Fuel only. He is down and away. Be curious to see on that second stop if he opts to leave that set of tires on. The Spa 3 hour that they ran recently, they went 3 stints. This was, though, in a GT car without changing tires, but same situation. It was at night. Track temperatures were low. You can certainly get away with it if you try. Back to the GT battle. Hingston still out front. Aldo Secklin in the second position. He jumped to the lead on the initial start. Was awfully aggressive. Mark Thomas has gone off track. In trouble. Looks like this is into the bus stop. What in the world? Did he just drive it too deep? We're going to have to take a look. Down the backstretch, this is Mark Thomas. Yep, missed the braking point entirely. Gets the cones. Should have gone to the right. Ends up making contact with that third tire pack. Straightens it back out. Minimal damage, it appears. No, it's a little worse for wear. Hood is missing on that Mercedes. Not good for our third place running machine. Mark Thomas enters the pit lane. Fast repair used. They did give them a fast repair for this event, so that's good. Not too bad. He's going to have to pit a little bit early, which means he's going to have to stretch the fuel later on. Here's Bill Martin has crashed again. Let's take a look at this. Similar scenarios we saw with Sean Roberts, just later in the corner. A little bit of a tank slap with that machine. Tried to save it. Again, no contact, just spins the car out, but gets back underway. Mark Thomas down and away as well. So it looks like the prototypes, at least Andrew Locke, he's the only one to have pit so far. He's going to have to make one more stop with about 15 minutes to go. But no one else in the prototype, with the exception of maybe Jesse Redding, has pit. Andrew Locke pit at lap 14, Redding lap 15. Andrew took 10 seconds more fuel than Redding. But all the other prototypes stayed out on the race course. See if they can stretch it to another 3.5 minutes. If they can do that, that would be their final stop of the race. I don't know that Andrew Locke could go the full race distance from where he pit, which was 37 minutes to go. Again, doing the math roughly, he should have to pit around that 15 minutes to go mark one more time. Austin Delgado working his way through the field as the leader. Some GT traffic to contend with. Sean Roberts in the second spot, 1.3 seconds in the rears. Little connection issue for Delgado there for a brief moment. Chris Goins hits the pit lane. He is coming down for his scheduled stop. 32 minutes to go. It's going to be tight if he's going to stretch this all the way to the end. I don't know that he'll be able to do that. "12 seconds of fuel so far." Car does not go up on the jack, so those Michelin tires will stay on, at least for the balance of this stint. Jones is down and away. Fuel only for the driver of the number 6 LMP2. Going to move Andrew Locke up one position to the P6. Bill Martin in trouble once again. Ooh, contact after he misses the exit. Looks like that might have been Garrett Hogan with him as well. Chris Goins' time in the pit box, 23.6 seconds. I'm starting to wonder now if Andrew Locke had some damage. You remember there was some contact early on in the race between himself and I think it was Matt Sissoler in the 93. Andrew Locke may have taken some time, about 10 seconds, maybe to fix some optional damage, optional repairs on that prototype, just to get that thing a little bit slicker in the wind. Curious if there was any lap traffic for Andrew Locke as he gets back up onto the NASCAR oval into turn 1 and 2. His last lap, a 1 minute 35.60 seconds for Andrew Locke, while the leader's last lap, a 34.57. Sean Roberts, a 34.01. Roberts, the fastest car on the racetrack at the moment. Andrew Locke picks the pace up a bit, 34.69. The last time by, possibly some lap traffic slowing him down the previous lap. Roberts still the quickest on the track, though. Delgado still with the lead, a 1.8 second advantage over Roberts. Let's ride on board with Sean and see what he sees from inside the cockpit. Helmet cam for Sean Roberts. It's a lap around the racetrack with Sean Roberts as he tries to reel in Austin Delgado. Other drivers starting to hit the pit lane again. Garrett Hagan, he is down for his first stop of the day. I don't know if we're looking at different strategies here. Again, this is an open setup race. Many of the races that we cover and watch, they're fixed setup, so everyone's kind of on the same strategies for the most part. You can change things up by trying to save fuel on your own, but different setups means different fuel consumption rates, different aero packages. A lot of these things make a difference when it comes to how much fuel the race car is going to use. Very well could be the case. Andrew Locke, possibly a higher downforce setup, which in knowing Andrew is not typical of what he would race, but here at Daytona, you want to see a lot of that trim, that drag taken out of the race car. You can utilize the banking and the high-speed straightaways to get some lap time. You will lose a little bit in the infield section, but less downforce, less drag means less fuel consumption. Just curious what the situation may have been with Andrew Locke. Possibly a miscalculation, not sure. Many drivers, though, on pit lane. Austin Delgado, Sean Roberts, Kevin Blue. It's time, folks. These guys on a relatively similar strategy, it seems. Matt Sissoler has taken over the top spot. He has yet to pit. Definitely getting the best fuel economy out there. Kevin Blue also in the box. Austin Delgado first in, first out. Nigel Stock also stays out on the racetrack, was quick in practice. Did not qualify for the event, decided to start at the tail end of the prototype field. Stock is up there in the second spot, though, behind Matt Sissoler. Again, Sissoler got tangled up with Andrew Locke earlier on in the race, battling for position. I believe it was the third position. They both made contact. Locke drove away. Sissoler was turned into the runoff. No damage to speak of for Sissoler. He stays on the racetrack during the pit cycle, takes over the lead. He's definitely going to need to stop here soon, though, if he's going to make it to the finish line. Nigel Stock in the second position. About 16 seconds the advantage Sissoler has on Nigel, as Sissoler does hit pit lane this time. First and only stop of the day for the number 93. Seems the average pit time is about 25 to 30 seconds for fuel only. We've had some guys take extra time. I don't know if that was extra fuel for Andrew Locke or optional repairs. His stop, 35 seconds. Losing 10 seconds in pit lane. Nigel Stock also in the box. Austin Delgado cycles back around to the top spot after his pit stop. Checking in on the GT category once again, Hingston, nothing has changed up front there. He has maintained that top spot since the outset of the race. Aldo Secklin hanging on to second position as well. Third place has changed a bit with the issue with Mark Thomas. Right now, Warren Keith exiting pit lane with that third position. Blake Langley runs in the fourth spot. Mark Thomas is fifth after his incident into the bus stop. Again, he's going to be off cycle with pit stops as far as that goes because he had to pit to get that damage repaired. Used the fast repair to do it. I would assume he took fuel at that point in time. Be curious to see if he has enough to make it to the finish or if he's going to need to stop for a quick splash and go here at the end. Roswell Harlow out of Gardner, Maine. I've been there. Roswell in the Audi, running in the 6th position in GT. David Tamir has moved himself up into the 7th spot. Justin Urbe runs 8th. Travis Stevens 9th. Donald Ray, the top 10 in GT. Chris Pio runs 11th. Bill Mulfeld 12th in GT, and Pete Beagle 13th. A little bit of damage to that BMW. Not terrible, but certainly not helping the matter. And Britt Osborne in the Lamborghini runs 14th. Cody Steeg, Bill Martin in the pits. Back up in LMP2, Delgado still with the top spot. Sean Roberts hangs in the rear view, 1.3 seconds the advantage for Delgado, catching some GT traffic into the bus stop. That's not going to help things at all. Sean Roberts closes the gap to less than a second, less than 3/4 of a second. Gained a ton of time in that transition. Roberts might be able to sniff the draft here through NASCAR 3 and 4. Still more lap traffic. Britt Osborne there in the Lamborghini. Roberts has got it down to 0.4 of a second as they cross the stripe with less than 20 minutes to go. Might have a battle for the lead here soon. Roberts is going to have some pace. Last lap at 34.04, and the leader Delgado slides off in 1. Makes it easy for Roberts. Sean Roberts to the top spot. Sean Roberts forcing the mistake out of Austin Delgado, takes over the lead once again. Top 3 now, Roberts, Delgado, and Locke. Locke not too far behind either. He is running in the 3rd position. He is about 2.5 seconds off the top spot and about 1 second off the back deck of Delgado. Andrew Locke has got a lot of experience in iRacing. He's been doing this a long time, maybe working some strategies, got some quick pace. Last time by a 34.09, not quite as fast as Sean Roberts, the 34.04 lap time out of Sean Roberts, but we're talking half a tenth between the two. Right now, Locke likely getting some slipstream from Austin Delgado. That's going to help draw him a bit closer, not only to Delgado, but Sean Roberts as well. Delgado slides off again. He's going to give up the 2nd spot. Too late on the brakes, locks him up, goes into the runoff in turn 1 again. Andrew Locke, oh, big trouble for Delgado. Now he's in the grass. Not sure if Delgado's having a hardware issue at home with the PC. I know he had some connection issues early on in the race. We saw that car blink in and out a couple of times. Not good news for the 2nd place machine of Austin Delgado. Slides off into turn 1, loses the top spot, and then a lap or 2 later does the same thing with Andrew Locke bearing down. Now he's got to deal with Kevin Blue in the rearview mirror. Kevin's closing down fast. We'll keep our eyes on this battle for a moment. Kevin Blue certainly close enough to snip a draft off of Delgado, possibly going to move Blue into a podium position. He's closing it down fast. You see how that draft really comes into play. Kevin actually checks up a bit, lets Delgado get back out in front, closes the gap in deep, under braking into the bus stop. There's a GT car up ahead. That's Dave Tamira. Both drivers get off the bus stop decently, but now Kevin again in the slipstream through NASCAR 3 and 4. They're going to go around the GT car, Dave Tamira. Kevin might set this up for a move into turn number 1. We are going to see. He's got the draft into the tri-oval, goes to the high side. Maybe a little too early. Bit of a block coming from Delgado. Does he lock it up again? Both drivers in a little bit deep. Kevin Blue stays to the back bumper of Delgado as they continue to battle for this podium position with 15-plus minutes to go. Bill Martin to the outside. Delgado slides off, getting back onto the NASCAR oval, but Kevin Blue unable to capitalize on that, at least not yet. He's right there to the back bumper. Connection issues in and out for Delgado. It's going to make you nervous as that trailing car, seeing that car blink in and out, especially when you're trying to overtake. You don't want to get too close and have him reappear right in your cockpit. Back into the bus stop once again, both drivers in through that section nicely. On exit, but again, Blue's going to have the slipstream through NASCAR 3 and 4 once again. Might be able to set him up through the tri-oval, under braking into 1 once again. It's been a trouble area for Delgado for the last 5, 6, 7 minutes. Side by side into the tri-oval. We'll see what Kevin Blue can do with him here. Can he outbrake him into 1? Late on the brakes is Blue. So is Delgado. A little slip from Delgado, a little slip from Blue. Delgado gets back into position, maintains the 3rd spot. They race around into the first horseshoe. And Sean Roberts has crashed. Back under power. Let's take a look at what happened with Sean Roberts. Andrew Locke has taken over the top spot. Quick left, under braking into the international horseshoe. Locks up the rears just a bit. Again, no contact, but gives up the top spot to Andrew Locke here late at Daytona. Again, we're going to step aside for a short break. We're going to go side by side. We won't miss a thing. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Daytona Beach. The LSR Sports Car Series round number 1 is just about to its conclusion. 11 minutes to go here. Andrew Locke with the lead after Sean Roberts had his own issues in the horseshoe. Locks up the rears and spins it around. Nothing significant. No damage still to that machine, but that is the second mistake we've seen out of the driver of the 23 today, giving up the top spot to Andrew Locke. Now the question is, with 10 minutes to go, can Andrew make it to the finish on the fuel that he currently has on board? We know he pit earlier than any of the other LMPs. It was about the 37 minutes to go mark, so 23 minutes in. He's certainly gone just about that since then with 10.5 minutes to go. Does he have enough to make it to the end? He's got a 9+ second advantage over second place Sean Roberts, but that is certainly not enough time to make a fuel stop. Even though it would be a splash and go, and still get back out there and contend. Him and Sean Roberts, very similar pace out there on the speedway. And I think Sean Roberts may have crashed again. Tough night going from bad to worse. Let's take a look at it. Left-hander getting back onto the oval, just slips it through, and again, he did the same thing earlier on in the race. Just pushing too hard, trying to catch Andrew Locke. At the time, it was trying to stay out in front of him. Not helping his cause here. Sean Roberts, though, still sticks in that second position. Well, Andrew Locke has a 9.5 second advantage. 9 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Taking a look back at the battle in GT, it's not much of a battle. Patrick Hingston still out front. Been there pretty much since the drop of the green flag. Didn't start on the pole position. Don't believe. Hard to tell sometimes with these multi-class races. Nonetheless, he is currently out in front, although Seklin's still in the second position in the Ferrari. Another Mercedes, Warren Keith. He runs in the third position. Mark Thomas, after his issue getting into the bus stop, missed his entry. He is running in the fourth position. Really no one around Mark to do anything with. He's just got to run some clean laps and try to collect as many points as he can. Hingston has about a 24-second advantage over second place running Aldo Seklin. No contest there with 8 minutes to go. Maybe a mistake, maybe a pit stop or a pit stop speeding penalty for perhaps. Could certainly change the outcome of many of these finishing positions for everybody really involved, especially if there's any more stops to go. Still need to wait and see, though, if Andrew Locke can make it all the way to the checkered flag on that tank of fuel. Very well could have been that he stopped, spent 10 extra seconds in the pit box to take on extra fuel. That very well could have been the situation. Again, he did pit much earlier than the other competitors. Again, all related likely to the setup, how much fuel it uses. He might have short-filled it to try and get an early advantage. That's always an option in an open set race. And I hate to say it, guys, but Sean Roberts in trouble again. This is unfortunately for him becoming an issue. The same corner, he's done it 3 times there, getting out of the infield section, back onto the NASCAR oval. Frustration at its peak for Sean Roberts. Sean Roberts now has slipped from second to fourth position. Delgado now back up to P2. 11.7 seconds behind Andrew Locke. Kevin Blue finally up into a top 3, a podium position if he can hang on to it. Roberts just a few seconds behind Kevin Blue. If he can keep from spinning the car out, he might be able to catch and do something with Kevin, but the consistency just has not been there for Sean Roberts in the last 10, 15 minutes or so. It's been tough sledding for the 23 as Sean Roberts had a strong car, strong pace early on, but unable to put a complete race together here with just under 6 minutes remaining. With just under 6 minutes remaining, let's try and get through at least our Daytona prototype, or I should say LMP2 category. Currently with the lead, it is the 27 of Andrew Locke, working through some lap GT traffic. A little bit of contact early on with Matt Sissoler, battling for, I think it was the 3rd position going into turn 1 against Sissoler. Got crossed up there after some contact with Locke. Sissoler spun into the runoff. Locke continued on. Austin Delgado had his share of issues as well until those tires got some temperature in them. Again, cold temperatures here at Daytona. It's good for tire wear, but these things really don't grip and hang on until they got some heat into them. Austin Delgado learned that the hard way as he gets through turn 1 again. Difficult trying to get around a GT car, but still hangs on to that 2nd position. He's going to have to be careful because right in that rearview mirror, here he is again. Kevin Blue, the 54 Lone Star Racing machine, trying to track down Delgado and steal that runner-up position here with just 4.5 minutes left in the race. Again, Matt Sissoler, we talked about his issues. Battling with Roberts now for position. These are side by side. We'll stay here. A little wiggle out of Roberts. Sissoler's got the benefit, the inside lane into the horseshoe. He's going to clear Roberts off corner exit. Let's see if Roberts battles back. Roberts gets through the corner clean this time. Now move Sean Roberts back to the 4th position after starting on pole, leading a lot of laps early on and then running into trouble late. Sean Roberts seeing this one slip away with 4 minutes to go. Chris Goins running in the 5th position, the number 6 I-Lending machine. Having a solid run here, still on the lead lap, in contention, in the top 5. Nigel Stock, again, another fast car in the practice session. Didn't take a time in qualifying. I'm still unsure what the purpose of that was. Some guys just like to work their way through the field, but not working out great for him. He's up a few spots. Currently running in the 7th position. Cody Anderson in the 8th spot. Again, also a lead lap machine. Cody typically running the GT category, jumping up into the LMP2. Having a good run. Garrett Hagan. Hagan running in the 9th spot. Foxworth Autosport entry. And Mike Fahey out of Ilion, New York. Fahey running in the 10th spot, 1 lap down to the leaders. Just over 2.5 minutes left, and Andrew Locke can take the first checkered flag of the season. Again, still the question remains, does he have enough fuel on board to make it all the way to the end? He does have a gap a little bit back to Kevin Blue as Kevin's taken over that 2nd spot. In fact, let's go back and take a look at that pass. Kevin took over P2 from Delgado. Maybe not. Must have just backed it way, way up. Keep an eye on it here for a moment more. Looks like he already got by him at that point. So some issue with the live timing. Unable to get that one, but it looks like once again, bad to worse. Sean Roberts in trouble again. Trying to past Aldo Secklin, lap traffic GT. Bad entry into the second horseshoe. Still no contact, but loops it around again. Delgado takes back the position, though. Minute and 10 to go. Take a look at it one more time. Watch this pass. This is, again, into the trial area. Delgado with a run on the bottom takes back position number 2. Out front, still Andrew Locke. 9.8 second advantage over second place running Austin Delgado. Officially 35 seconds remaining in the race. Not sure if Andrew's going to make it back to start finish to take the white. Yes, he is. Crosses the stripe. This will be the final lap. Andrew Locke qualified in the second row tonight. Thought he was the lock for pole. Didn't quite make it there. Quickly worked his way towards the front. Some pit strategy early. Was in before anyone else in the DP category, or the LMP2 category for that matter. I keep making that mistake. Through some strategy and some mistakes by the guys out in front. Sean Roberts notably the one that kind of threw it away a couple of times with Andrew Locke in behind. Locke inherited the top spot, hasn't looked back. 9.5 seconds ahead of Austin Delgado. Matt Sissoler's taken back the third position, has moved Kevin Blue back to fourth here late. Again, this should be the final lap, not getting any indication otherwise. Andrew Locke just got a couple of NASCAR corners to go. Wide open throttle all the way back to the checkered flag. If he runs out now, it doesn't matter. Nope, we got one more to go. White flag waving. Just kidding. One more lap of action here from Daytona. Can Andrew Locke make it all the way around? Did he just stop on the white flag? No, that was the checkered. What is going on? It looked like he was waving the white. Well, there you have it. I guess it's over. Andrew Locke picks up the victory here at Daytona. Austin Delgado second. Matt Sissoler third. Delgado just disappears there. I don't know if he checked out or if he lost a connection. Either way, we're going to step aside. The fireworks go off. We're going to catch a quick break here, trying to get some winners of both categories. Patrick Hingston came home as the winner there as well. Dominating performance by the Mercedes. Aldo Secklin, Warren Keith, the balance of the top three. Again, we will step aside, though. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Daytona International Speedway. The Lonestar Racing Sports Car Series has come to its conclusion. Andrew Locke has won the overall in the LMP2, but unfortunately he's not going to join us in the broadcast booth. But we do have Patrick Hingston, winner of the GT3 category. Pull him up here in just a moment. Patrick, it's Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. You got a good copy?
Yeah.
Patrick, you led this thing pretty much green to checker. You didn't. Did you have the pole? I wasn't sure if you were on the pole position or not.
Yeah, I got pole.
Is this typically a series, at least as far as GT3 category, something you're very familiar with? You got some laps in this car. Tell us about your background.
I mostly race like GT cars, like GT, Porsche Cups and all this, but like I'm familiar with this. I just did like the Spa 24 on Sunday and Saturday, like this weekend, so yeah.
So I assume you rode the Mercedes in the Spa 24, or were you in something else?
Yeah, Mercedes.
Okay, so certainly plenty of laps in this car, though it is relatively new on the iRacing service. Daytona is kind of its own animal, but if you can get around Spa, you can certainly get around this place. What was the strategy for the race? Just kind of hammer down the whole time? Did you take tires on the stop, or was it fuel only?
I only took fuel only. Like, I tried pulling a gap, and then after that, like, once I had a big enough gap, I just started short shifting.
Trying to save some fuel to get to the end. It seemed to be effective, certainly. But still, no real contention between you and Aldo Secklin. Aldo, it's typically pretty quick here. I'm not sure if it's just a matter of the guy behind the wheel, that would be you, or the fact that Mercedes seems to have a bit of an advantage. Do you expect any changes going forward in this car or any of the tracks on the schedule?
Not really. I feel like I could, like, I don't know. We'll just have to see.
Well, I will want to say one thing. You've certainly got the most unique paint scheme out there on the track. Is this just some random scheme that you picked, or has this one got some purpose behind it?
It's like just some random scheme I picked. It's like a scheme from like Super GT.
Well, still pretty cool. It's certainly a unique one out there. You put it there on the top step of the podium. Congratulations. Patrick, before we let you go, is there anybody that you need to thank?
I think my team, Sim Racing, and family and all that, so yeah.
All right, Patrick, again, congratulations on the GT3 victory here at Daytona. Good luck going into next week.
You too. See you.
Looks like we do have Andrew Locke available in the broadcast, so we'll go to our overall LMP2 winner, Andrew Locke. Andrew, it's Steve in the broadcast booth. You got a copy? Andrew Locke, Steve in the booth. You there? Teasing everybody here. Let's try this one more time. Andrew Locke, it's Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. Are you with us? Having some issues. I see him trying to mute and unmute his mic. He's here in the channel, but we are not receiving. Hey, we got him now. Andrew Locke, Steve in the booth. You got a copy?
I do now.
All right. I got you loud and clear. We'll get that worked out. Not sure why we weren't getting you there, but either way, congratulations. Race 1 of the LSR Sports Car Series belongs to you in the LMP2 category, plus overall victory here at Daytona. We saw you work some fuel strategy early on. You pit after, I think, about 23 minutes in the car and then ran it all the way to the finish. Was that early strategy something you had thought about, or was it just based on the setup in the car?
It was a setup. I must have changed it and saved it without knowing it, because the entire race I had to save fuel. That was not completely intentional. So, yeah, that was a goof up on my part for sure.
Well, mistakes were kind of the topic at hand for most of the night, whether it's strategy-wise or just behind the wheel. We saw Sean Roberts a couple of times, not just with you behind him, but 3 or 4 different times, just spin the car out, gave up the lead to you twice in doing so. You weren't really applying the pressure, at least as far as what I could tell. Did you think that Sean had something for you, or could you have caught him if you'd kept it clean? I mean, what was his pace like?
His pace was pretty decent. What I was trying to do was just get up on the rear of him and draft him. I wasn't like planning on passing him until the very end because obviously I had to conserve fuel. I mean, I was basically puttering over the line, so that was my intention. But yeah, I mean, those spins he had were definitely unfortunate. It kind of stinks. It certainly would have been a good finish because he had some good pace there.
Roberts had some issues even after that. Ended up finishing P5. You take home the top spot. Congratulations. Are you going to make it out next week?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to sure try. It's a tough track, but we'll see if we can survive. You know, there's a lot of walls there, that's for sure.
All right, Andrew, congratulations on the win. Before we let you go, is there anybody you need to thank?
Just my team, Genesis Sim Sport and Fast MD Racing and Grid Engineering. They do a good job and supply me with a lot of my stuff, so just wanted to thank them. And thank you for your awesome broadcast, as usual, Steve.
All right, Andrew. Congratulations, man. Thanks for chatting with us.
Yeah, I'll see you later, bud.
It was Andrew Locke, winner of the overall in the LMP2, that Fast MD Grid Engineering machine. Looked pretty sharp out there. That's quite the handful he had here tonight, trying to save fuel throughout the entire course of that run. A lot of times what happens is guys might make an adjustment to the fuel in the setup in practice, and if they don't go back and reload that setup, it's going to keep that amount of fuel in it. So he may have started a little bit short, which required him to pit after 23 minutes, really early compared to the rest of the field. Did a great job trying to save it all the way to the end. Again, no caution laps to kind of save him to get that splash and go. If we went one more lap, we would have been in trouble, but not the case. Took home that top spot in the checkered flag here at Daytona. Brings that machine home as the winner. We'll see what he has going into next week. Again, I will not be broadcasting the balance of the season unless something major changes. I'm happy to do it as long as I'm available, but unfortunately, schedules just didn't quite line up this time. I was running in the races with this series previously, but I've since been scheduled with another broadcast. So tune in to us here at HBR TV on Mondays regardless. I'm not quite sure if LSR has a different broadcast platform lined up for the balance of the season. I certainly hope that they do, because from what I saw tonight, this series has got a lot to offer. Be good for anyone to tune into, whether it's at HBR TV or Pit Stop TV or really anybody else for that matter. Would be well suited to be on the broadcast. Let's take a look at the race results here. We'll try to get through this as easily as we can. Again, Andrew Locke with the top step. Austin Delgado was second. Matt Sisolder was third. Kevin Blue wasn't able to lock up that top three position. He finished fourth. Sean Roberts, tough night for Sean Roberts. I think if he was just able to keep that car in a position and not turn it around, he probably would have been top two, especially considering this issue that Andrew had with the pit stops and the fuel, having to save the majority of the race. Wasn't able to run at full pace, was content just drafting there for a while. Sean Roberts, I'm sure if he had known that, may have been a little bit easier on that car, but top five finish, not a terrible points night. I know guys don't like that, but we'll move on to next week. Chris Goins in the sixth, finishes sixth. I think that's right where he started as well, so that's I guess that's a good night. You didn't lose, but you didn't gain, so we'll call it par for the evening for Chris Goins. Cody Anderson, seventh place finish. Garrett Hagen was eighth. Nigel Stock was in the ninth position. Mike Fahey was 10th. Jesse Redding was 11th. And then we have the GT category with Patrick Hingston was the winner. Aldo Secklin was second. Warren Keith was third. Mark Thomas still hung on to a fourth place finish. Fifth was Roswell Harlow. Dave Tamura was sixth. Travis Stevens 7th, 18th on the overall. Moving down the rest of the line, 19th overall, Justin Urbe. 20th, Blake Langley. 21st, Donald Ray. 22nd position was Bill Mulfeld. Chris Pio was 23rd. 24th, Pete Beagle. Britt Osborne was 25th. Bill Martin, 26th. Cody Steeg, 27th. Joe Tucker, 28th. And Dan Fendick, 29th. 38 laps down. I don't believe that Tucker or Fendick started the race. I think they ran practice, but that was about all. Nevertheless, good race here from Daytona. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Certainly appreciate you being here for it. This is kind of a one-off. Again, I would love to be able to cover the rest of this season, but again, just doesn't line up. Hope to see you guys back in the future. If you enjoyed it tonight, please like, follow, share, subscribe, both platforms. We multicast to Facebook and YouTube. It's facebook.com/HBRTV and the number 1. And then on the YouTube side, also nice and easy, it's HBRTV and the number 1. So easy to find us on both platforms. Like, share, follow, subscribe, turn on the notifications. That is the most important part once you've followed us, is you get all the notifications when we make posts for post-race or any future races that are coming up. We've got the Superior Class Auto Racing Premier Series running tomorrow evening. Tune in about 8:45 here on HBR TV for that. Many of these drivers from the Lonestar Racing Sports Car Series will be in that race tomorrow. Not all of them. A lot of these guys are kind of road racing only, but a handful of LSR guys do come over and run with us in the Premier Series. That'll be a good time. That is at Chicagoland Speedway. Always puts on a great race. And then Saturday, we have the NTRL Numb Thumbs Racing League. Their ARCA series running Saturday evening, about 7:55. Tune in there from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And then the following Monday, I got to double check the times because we haven't scheduled it just yet, but it is on the schedule. It is the Old Farts Racing League. Yes, you heard me right. It is the Old Farts. They're going to run next Monday. I think that is a Next Gen Cup League. Again, it's been a little bit since I've taken a look at it. Got to be double sure. I'll get it posted, but tune in for that. That's going to be Mondays. That's going to be, unfortunately, the reason we cannot cover the balance of this Lonestar Racing Sports Car Series. But either way, happy to have something to do on a Monday night. So certainly appreciate that. Again, tune in for it. If you got nothing to do and it's too hot out or whatever, you don't have plans, hang out. Have a good time. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Steve Singer in the HBR TV booth. Tune in next time. You guys have a good night.